everybody, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would round out the year. I've been under the weather for a week or so I haven't been doing any YouTube videos, but I thought I would spend the day going through my inspiration book that I did for you for the last 8 or 9 videos, and I did it in here. And then I cut them all out because I really like, after I've done about a dozen or so, I like to add them to this lovely book. I'll show you the link in my notes. I got it on Amazon. I like it because it's square. It's got a beautiful cover. It makes a really nice tabletop book. And that's the purpose of putting things in here. Number one, it is my inspiration book, but I do like to put it in something beautiful. And it's also got very, very, very heavy but smooth pages. So if you wanted to do ink or felt marker on here, it's nice and smooth, but it's also nice and stiff to work right in here with mixed media. But what I've done, and in the beginning here, last year, I did some of these pages right into the book. And then I added, from this section forward are the ones I've done my recent videos for you. I took them out of the other book and I double taped the top and bottom, and I've got them in here. And so it just is a good continuation. And the reason why I keep this and want to have this video for you is I want to tell you that I call it an inspiration book because sometimes I don't even like something when I first make it, and I'll put it aside. And a year later, which I did, yesterday I was cleaning my art room and I found these old ones. I found this book and I was just re-inspired because I absolutely adore what I did here. And I am really glad that I kept it. I didn't trim the pages yet, but this has got my tissue prints and some ink. It's fairly simple. This was actually all done with my gel prints. And anyway, I wanted to prove the point that if you keep your book and call it an inspiration book, it really does truly inspire me, especially in a week like this week where I just feel lousy and I need something to re-inspire me. I'm not really feeling up to doing any work, but it really is a good time to go through these and get in a good mood. So I wanted to, and also with this book, what you can do on the left side of each of the pages, you can write little notes of what you used, how you did it, in case you don't remember. So if I was going to do that, in this case, I would say this is all done with tissue prints that I did on the gel plate. Even this one, I might have put that down, and at the end, I might have taken some black paint and gone over it just a bit to really bring it forward and make it loud. But anyway, that's what I would write for this one. In this case, this was also strictly gel print, tissue prints. And again, this was a print as well that I did with this actually directly onto tissue paper. And then I had that and used that as an isolated section from that print, and I glued that down. So I just can't tell you enough how important it is to have an inspiration book. Keep these things. You may hate it at first, but later on you might look and go, wow, I can't believe I did that. I quite like it. Or at that time of your life, it might inspire you to do something that you wouldn't have thought of at the time that you made it. Here's another one I really like. This was gel tissue. This was on the gel plate, all of this. Even this one was a dispenser like this with this color. And I just went on there onto the tissue print and then used that. So you don't always have to do gel plate tissue prints with stencils. You can just go right onto the tissue as well. In fact, that wasn't even gel paper. That was just right onto the tissue. So this again is just another using a lot of colors of tissue prints. Quite often I keep them white or black because I could always go over this now with a glaze and change that white if I wanted to. But anyway, I love these ones I did a year ago. Here's another one I absolutely adore. I would actually take this out and put a mat and a larger frame, or cut that out and glue it. I would actually cut that out and glue it and put it into a frame like this. Look at how wonderful that would be. And that came out of my inspiration book. You know, just because you did it on paper doesn't mean that you can't save that, mat it, and frame it. I've done that before where I've shown on my Instagram a painting. I'm not sure if this one's on there, and somebody liked it and wanted to buy it. So I matted and framed it and sent that off, and it makes a beautiful, it might only be 7 by 7, but once you mat it and frame it, you can make a beautiful piece of art. Here's another one that I love. This was 0 tissue prints. This is just using my high flow acrylics and spraying with water and letting it disperse. I love doing that here again. And then adding a little bit more with this one over top and letting it spread a bit. And then this one, again, using a dispenser and just, or you could use a colored Posca pen or something like that. You can even add to it. I highlighted with a darker version. This was a glaze, and then this is the same yellow, green, gold mixed with white, and I put that on and it was more opaque, so that showed up. So this one was using, I believe it was this, really fine liner, or you could do a Posca pen, but anyway, it just gives me ideas. So I would write all these notes here if I forgot, before I forget. This one was just strictly watching paint flow, and because I did not put any matte medium on top of the paper, it absorbed into it, got quite wet and stayed rippled, but I don't mind that. I'm not going to mat and frame this. This is just for inspiration. I might take my fine point Macron pens from Japan and I might isolate or do outlines, and I would actually turn this into a doodle art. And that's probably what I'll do one day, but right now, you know, I could turn that around and make that even into a flower. This could end up being a bouquet. So it inspires me. I might not call this a bouquet, but I might say, oh, I like what I did right here and right here. And when I do paintings of flowers, they are abstract. So I quite love this. So I could be inspired to do a painting someday with this as a floral bouquet. So that's why I call this an inspiration book. Never say never. So now we're going, this was one I did a year ago as well and added it to here. It's got a lot of gel prints, and then I put a heavy white paint over top and used something sharp. I used a toothpick, but you could use anything sharp and groove into it, and then put a glaze over. And then here as well, that paint goes into the grooves. And you can't get, even here with the scratching, you can't get that by painting it. It's a layer effect. And then I took a Posca pen and did some extra white over top and put white dots in the middle of there. So I quite like this. Who knows? Somebody might like that one day and want it matted and framed. This is the beginning now of my series that I did this fall. And this is strictly watching paint flow, doing mark making at the beginning and then watching paint flow. This again could inspire me to do flowers. Here's another one where I did paint flow, and then I got some of the texture in the background from putting paint down and then putting the textured paper towel down, pressing down. That lifts the paint up and leaves these dots. So I do that a lot. This one was developed by putting a heavy coat of white paint over, and then again with the toothpick scraping into it, and that reveals, beyond the white, it reveals the color that was below. Below here was pink, here was blue, there's a bit of green, like it all ends up coming out in these grooves. Same with these scratches here. That was done, that's just stuck on there. That was done with the toothpick as well. So it's just reminder of things that I could do. This would make a nice matte framed painting because I quite like the balance of it. This one I did recently. It needs to have a varnish over it, but again, this could be, somebody could matte and frame that. This is this black, and some of the other stuff was the gel printed tissue, like this white, put down in different layers. And then at the end, and same with this was gel tissue, where I had a circle and I had white paint on it. And then I glued the tissues down. And then at the very end, I took white and enhanced in there, and I enhanced a bit of the black, and I took some of my yellow-green fresh paint and went over top to really bring that forward. So these are the things you can do. This one is not my typical style at all, but I'm keeping it in the book because it's inspiration for if I ever wanted to do something like this. Here again, there's a lot of scratching, things like that. But again, it's not my typical style, but I encourage you to go beyond your typical style. You know, you learn and grow from that. I may never do this kind of work again, but I might. But I don't throw anything away. It shows what I am capable of doing. Here is molding paste, where I used a stencil here, a different stencil there. I put the molding paste down. Once it dries, you put a glaze down, and then the paint goes and settles in the grooves. I love that. There's more that could be done to this, but for now, I just wanted this to be inspiration for what you can do. And this is one of, these are all these recent ones here are videos that you can find on my YouTube channel. And the playlist that it's under is Inspiration Book. Here's another one. This reminds me of a poster. This is molding paste here, here, and here with 3 different stencils. Before that, I did a whole bunch of pencil crayon mark making, scribbles, and then I put paint flow over that. And then I did the molding paste, and then I did more paint flow and watched it go in the grooves and channels. And I like in this case how some of the mark making is revealed afterwards. I like how the shadowing settles where all the grooves are. You could take a wet wipe and wipe over top of these molding paste areas and take the top surface of paint off, and it reveals more of a clear coat. So those are the kinds of ideas that you want to remember for someday down the road. This one I did mostly, this one was completely paint flow. It was a very quick video. I did lead pencil lines, and then I took a pencil crayon that was, I think it was a Stabilo Woody, that was very water soluble. So I put that down, and then I sprayed water and let it spread, and then I glazed, and the whole effect here was to get a marble effect. Here I did similar kind of thing where it was just paint flow, and then I took these wonderful oil sticks, which go on very soft and brilliant and opaque, and I put those down and rubbed it in. This is not finished. This orange, some of the yellow here, and this periwinkle blue are all from the oil sticks, some yellow as well. And I did not spray a fixative yet, so it's very tacky, and it will probably transfer onto this side of the page a little bit until I fix it. But I wanted to just show in that video how you can bring intensity out with shading with oil sticks. And there's a little bit more toothpick spreading there. This one I did, but I haven't done a video on it. And it's just, these are all different tissue prints that I did. I'll put a link below for the video I did on making these tissue prints. And then I used them on top, and then I just did a little bit of glazing. I didn't do too much more. Even this script here, that's all from a tissue print. Same with this. This was the same lesson. I'll again remind you that that was a link that I did on printing tissue prints. And I used, these were stencils, stamps that I made myself as well. And so every single thing here is a tissue print, but first I did mark making, and then I glued these down in layers, and that was as simple as it is. So that's it for now, but I really encourage you to consider that an art journal book is not just for doing and then leaving. Take them out once in a while, take a look at them, and get re-inspired, because I sure do. And who knows, you might find something and say, I want that on my wall, so go ahead and mat it and frame it. So I hope you would do something like this, and I encourage any comments that you have regarding this. I want to send you a Merry Christmas, even though it's a few weeks away. Again, I'm not really feeling that great right now, so I'm not doing that many videos, but I did want to get this one out there to keep you pumped up and inspired like I am, because I'm already feeling better, especially here. I just love the intensity. It's just on fire. I love it. So give it a go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my channel.